Right, exactly. Good. Now, just
the static communication of this wall of noise that we're going to present at the airport is your currency. And how are you going to fight that? That's what we're working on. I suggest cold fusion, the new technology, will break us out of the wall of noise. That's how we fight the banks. But the banks aren't the bigger warrior enemy that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the Android meme. And I'm the expert on that.
good. See, good. Let the phone ring. That's perfect. Did you hear that? I don't know where that came from. Is that your phone?
Why are the authorities frightening everybody? Why is Warren Buffett saying the economy's gone off the cliff? Because it's not important. Banking-related institution like the FDIC is in the mix of anamorphic distortion, of anamorphic distortion, of anamorphic distortion, 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 of anamorphic distortion, and they're saying things and commenting on it and trying to rebuild it so frenetically and in a panic state that this is something that will frighten. But that's what we're doing here. We're presenting an analogical mirror of the facts. Now, if you present information and even claim it's a mirror, it's still information and still obsolete. So the law of the printing press creates an economic structure organized around banks. Then you got into the 1920s, and radio came in and inflated that situation so that the banks were no longer the major medium or the figure for the major medium of the printing press, and radio caused an inflation that led to the crash of the banks. But then the banks became a guaranteed environment. That was Keynesian economics. They realized that we can give out money emphatically. That's called unemployment insurance, the welfare society. So banks have not been in control for years. But what we are slaves to is, and that means we're not slaves to banks and the Federal Reserve and all the stuff that Ron Paul complains about and other networks, and then the left is criticized it on the opposite perspective. The point is that is not what we're slaves to. We are slaves to radio, television, computer, satellite, and now the Android meme.
And the best part is there's nothing you can do to stop it. I mean, what are you going to do, turn off your TV and your computer?
Is the technology we live in, that is the money, and we don't know how to rebel against it because it hasn't been defined properly. We are telling people how to ignore the banks. The banks are part of your body, but they're a minor part, and they can collapse and then be rebuilt, as we're witnessing with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So actually, I'm sitting in the zone past the collapse, past the catastrophe. I'm sitting in the zone of the solution, and I'm trying to wake people up so they can show up in the same area as me. And James, you're getting closer and closer with the creativity you're coming up with today.
Yeah, because I want to, I'm very interested now that I've understood a way now to communicate with people that the transmission of these different ringtones as people are signaled, the transmission of these different ringtones as people are signaled, the transmission of
support to fix the problem.
these different ringtones as people are signaled, which I'm playing now. This is the iPhone. And the communication that you have with people during the time when you're like having a regular conversation and all these sounds are interrupted, it changes the conversation entirely because you could be talking about, you know, your grandmother's cancer operation. Exactly. Now this is just a demonstration of me saying, because for some reason in LA, it's totally crazier than it is anywhere else that I've seen. Yet the same problem still exists for some reason. Right, exactly. Now, that just
a little bit of a rally yesterday, went up to 300 points or something.
Right, continue. Thank you, Bill, or whoever's doing that.
Watching Pirates of the
We can translate what I'm saying so people can read that if they were interested. See, that's where our commentary is in the realm of silence. I'm saying, don't listen to us. Look at the environment. And so we found a way to point that out. That's excellent. And so what's interesting, and it's sort of
and that was the management that moved it up with Cartwright. Management found, in fact, the really Rob Lee could not measure the situation. So Roosevelt said, let's give it away. Let's make it available to everybody.